Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Jupiter conjunct one's natal Uranus. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Jupiter, it could be about enlargement, expanding horizons, expansion in general, exuberance, enthusiasm, even optimism and hope. When we have transit Jupiter conjoin one's natal Uranus, this could be about enlargement, expanding horizons, exuberance, enthusiasm, even optimism. It could be in matters of freedom and independence. Um, Say if you have this in the fifth house in your natal chart, or it could be something like a romantic involvement, or seventh house. It might be a relationship situation. Maybe you're trying to say if this is in say if you have this in Scorpio in your seventh house as another example. Maybe it's getting away from a stalker, even or somebody that obsessive person that could be an open adversary and trying to free yourself from that situation. Uranus is also connected with what's unique and unorthodox, so this could be very fortuitous for those things at this point in time when you have this transit. It could be just if you're working on a car or doing it in a certain method, that might be a little bit unusual to others, and it could be just doing things in a different way and actually being successful in doing so. It could even be just simply putting, if you're working like in a warehouse, it could be putting pallets stacked a certain way that's actually more beneficial as far as space to put other things in a certain part of the store. It could be if you're working on a car using a hammer and screwdriver as opposed to using a coil spring compressor. It's really just, it could be very simple things. And also remember, Uranus is about friendships as well, so this could be a time where you might be expanding your friendships and going outside the box, so to speak. Say if this is in Sagittarius, it could be people that are foreigners or that have traveled to your country from another country. Could be religious people or people that are very philosophical. Uh, and also groups and clubs as well are associated with Uranus. So this could be a time where you might be bringing a lot of jocular energy into these things at this time and expanding your horizons as far as groups and clubs go, and really thinking, really positively, maybe about going, more places where people congregate into, where groups are, or joining some kind of club or organization at this time, and it could be very fortuitous for that. Uh, at the same time, as I've talked about in previous videos, Jupiter, is very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also be very paradoxical. It could also enlarge and expand things, and this could be negative things as well. It could expand rebellious behavior. If you have this in the fifth house, it could be of a child you may know, or maybe somebody that you might be in some love relationship with or a superficial connection with. Uranus is also connected with ingenuity and innovation, so it could also at this time manifest in really, it could be very lucky and fortunate for that, and prosperous at this time as well. If it's an Aquarius, say, this transit, it could be something that's very connected with computers or electronic type of innovation. Another thing too is that this is also, Uranus can be about disruptions as well. So this could actually conjunctions in astrology are neutral, and this is something where you might have, like in this example, on a negative side, it could be the enlargement of disruptions in your life, and you have it in your third house. Say it might be matters with your neighborhood, or something with short journeys, whether there's actual literal roadblocks or what have you, or matters with siblings, cousins, or neighbors. But at the same time, it could actually be very good, and maybe as far as maybe disruptions, maybe you're finding a way to work around them, or you're trying to, or maybe they're able to come to an end because again, Jupiter can, really a lot of, I mean, you're talking about conjunctions in general. They could go either way, but a lot of it, of course, can be predicated and dependent upon aspects that it makes to points in your chart. So, um, at the time of this transit. Now, another thing too is anatomically speaking, Uranus is connected with the ankles, the shins, calves, nerves. It's also, I mean, it could be shocks, it could be electric, sensations, feeling like shocks in your body. I have Uranus almost exactly conjunct my sixth house in my natal chart. And I've talked about this in previous videos. I have irrevocable nerve damage. I have shock sensation. I've had shock sensations that have been like, I believe, well, not in my arms and area, and I believe my hands as well. Uranus could be connected with shocking sensations. I would say it's electricity, and also so it can be about the enlargement of these issues, but at the same time, again, as I stated before about these conjunctions being neutral, well, it could be fortuitous in terms of maybe, getting some, like if you're having surgery on something, Uranus related, it could be beneficial at this time. Uh, Also, too, um, could also be a time, I mean, you might be more prone, there might be greater propensity for like shocks through like static electricity, like if you're, a time also too, and it could be, I mean, you're talking about Uranus is connected with spasms as well. It's very sporadic energy, so if it's a time where you might be having more issues with, especially if you already have this condition, like if you have some kind of muscle spasm, as an, that could be something where it might be more prevalent now than usual. And also, Uranus is connected with unpredictability, so I mean, say if this is in your third house as an example, you might be experiencing more unpredictable behavior. It could be from siblings, cousins, neighbors, maybe people that are prominent in your short journeys or people that were prominent in your early education. And if you're one of the few people that see this that are still in your early education period up through 12th grade, well, you're experiencing at this time if you're having this transit. Now, another thing too is that um, could also be a way this could manifest. It could also be a lot of exuberance about your future and moving forward at this time. Now, say if this is in Aquarius in the 10th house as an example, it could manifest in maybe a future that's connected with astrology or astronomy career, or even one in innovation or electronics or computers. Um, it may also, again, it could expand disruptions, as I was stating before. If it's in Pisces in the fourth house, as an example, maybe it's some kind of disruption to maybe that dream home, that ideal home that maybe you wanted. Another thing, too, is that keep in mind Jupiter is also associated with prosperity. So this could be about prosperity and doing something Uranus related, whether it could be innovation, ingenuity, working with new technology, could be information technology. If you're in a position, Uranus related to, maybe there's an unexpected bonus that might come up. Other Uranus ventures, whether it could be robotics or astronomy or astrology. Now, and it could be, I mean, say if this is in Sagittarius in your fifth house as an example, it could be maybe it might be some prosperity or very fortuitous for doing something outdoors. Um, Sagittarius and sports related fifth, like, like the people that invented those robotic umpires for baseball. Also, too, Jupiter, I could say that again. Jupiter is about veracity and the truth. So this could be about a time, and you're talking about it hitting Uranus. It could be about the time where the truth may be unveiled. It could be about a friend or a group or an acquaintance you may have been connected with. Um, it could be good or bad. I mean, if it's an Aquarius, it could be maybe an innovative quality that this person has that maybe you weren't cognizant of before. Sometimes it could be negative. Say if it's in Scorpio as another example, it could be a friend that might be finding out has very vengeful and vindictive type qualities. So you can remember conjunctions generally they go either way. Hold on a moment. Sorry about that. I'm back. But anyway, and also too, this could enlarge idiosyncratic or unusual behavior. I mean, it might not be, the person pretending to be Spider-Man and putting suctions on their hands and climbing the walls, but you understand what I'm saying. It could be just a weird posture. You might be doing, or maybe depending on what house it's in, it might be a person that's prominent in your life that you're seeing acting maybe at least your perception more bizarrely than usual. Also, too, in remote and isolated cases, it may manifest an enlargement of Uranus physical related issues. It could be something like, as I stated, it could be something like with the nerves or the ankles, or even I would say in isolated cases, if somebody has epilepsy, is another example. I would say epilepsy can correlate with be connected with Uranus because it has to do with like some imbalance of an electrical system or what have you. So it is connected. I would say it's Uranus related or some unusual type of physical situation. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Hemiparesis, it's when you have like half the body paralyzed, but this is very isolated. And this is like if you have these conditions more often, than usual. Now, if you're involved in sports, say, and you have this transit Jupiter hitting Uranus being connected like with the ankles, the shins, the calves, the lower legs, it might be a greater propensity for injury as far as that goes, though, even if you don't have that kind of debilitation or that injury to begin with. And also, way it could work out, it could also be unexpected, which is Uranus Jupiter related physical issues, such as something with the liver or pancreas, the hip, sciatic nerve. Um, so anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.